Fatal 100 Year Quest Chapter 98. Wow, Wendy defeating Haku? Nobody saw that coming, especially me. But I gotta admit, this chapter is one hell of a ride. So sit back, relax, and let's get right into it. Okay, so the front cover. Very interesting, showing Happy riding a tiger. And I'm guessing it's just like a New Year celebration where 2021 is coming to an end and 2022 is gonna begin. And in 2022, well, the anime adaptation gets released, so maybe it might be a secret celebration for that as well. Who knows? So let's go on to the first page. So on the first page, it shows the Laxus. It looks like he's actually beaten down and he's trying to think what his next move can be, because as you saw in the previous chapter, he got really beaten up. But then it looks like Kirin launches another attack against Laxus, and it looks like it surprises him for some weird reason, because it's an unknown attack. Because what Kirin uses is the actual coffin, because he has actually got the coffin chained together with the actual chain, and he's actually tossed it towards Laxus, and he's using it as like a throwing object, you could say. And Laxus, well, he didn't see that coming, and he's just trying to push back against it, but for some weird reason it's just pushing out, you could say, his soul, and it's just really a lot to hold, which is very weird considering it's just a normal coffin. But in the next panel, it looks like Laxus did actually get pushed back. The coffin goes flying into the sky, and whilst Laxus is trying to think what on earth happened, well, Kirin, he just spins around the coffin and just puts it back onto his back. And in the next panel, he explains that this is a king's coffin. The soul in this coffin is a king spirit. And let's just say, if you don't have a king spirit, you're probably not going to be able to defeat me, just because of that symbol that's on the coffin. Little weird, and a little bit more insight into the Yellow Dragon Knight Kirin's power. Then in the next panel, it shows a large aura or power emitting from the actual coffin, and Kirin just standing there in a badass way, saying, "You probably don't have a chance to defeat me." And Laxus, well, he's really being pushed back, and he's trying to think, what can I do next? How can I defeat Kirin? And then the battle goes over to another place. It goes off to another corridor, and who's in this place? Well, it is Wendy and Haku, where Haku has turned very serious because he's transformed Irene into a doll, and now Wendy is pushed back thinking how she can fight against Haku. Before anything can happen, it looks like they are just trying to talk about what just happened. How was he able to turn Irene into a doll? And Lily is just a little bit confused at the moment. So then what happens next is Lily actually transforms. So this is one of the rare times you see Lily transform. He transforms into his human form, and he actually starts to fight back versus Haku, but Wendy knows Haku's power, so he probably is thinking that Lily is no match for Haku. Because in the next panel, as Lily is charging up trying to attack Haku, well, let's just say Haku, he is a little bit surprised by it, but it's nothing that really surprises him too much, because he just does something very devious. He actually uses his power, but he doesn't turn Lily into a doll, because that's what you'd think. He's probably going to turn Lily into a doll again. No, what he does is he actually uses this sort of strings to like cover Lily and his sword. And then in the next panel, it looks like this sort of string is actually covering up the entire body of Lily and even his sword. And there's loads of strings just like gathered around him like a hurricane. And he is literally now starting to become slowly trapped by this large string that Haku just, let's just say, casted. And now Wendy, well, she just before she can go and help Lily, Haku with his lightning speed literally goes up to Wendy again using his lightning speed, and they both start to punch each other. Haku being very confident in his power, and Wendy, well, being a little bit surprised, and let's just say I don't think she'll be able to use her full power in that one punch, because it was very unexpected. Because in the next panel, it looks like both of them connect their fists, so Wendy punches downwards whilst Haku punches upwards. So you're probably thinking, who has won in this bout? Well, I'm sorry to say it is Haku. He literally pushes away Wendy so far, she flies into the sky, and Haku, well, he's just got a little weird face on after he just did that. So then, as Wendy is flying all the way backwards in the sky, she starts to regain her momentum by using her sky wind magic on her feet, and now she's able to rebalance herself. And Haku, well, he's just amused by it, and he just thinks, wow, how are you able to do that? And then in the next panel, Wendy uses the air magic that she just casted to create a little cushion so that she could just go flying back downwards towards Haku. Using that momentum, what she does is she launches a sky wing attack. So you're thinking, well, that might actually do some damage because it was unexpected. But again, Haku with his lightning fast speed was able to dodge his attack. And Wendy, well, she can only stand there in shock because Haku right now is unbelievably fast. So then in the next panel, Haku tries to, well, he does cast some weird magic, and it's the string again. But this time, the string is starting to form something slowly. And what does it form? Well, it forms a lot, and I mean a lot of dolls, and they are all gone to attack Wendy. And then as they are all literally climbing on top of Wendy, let's just say in the next panel, something weird happens where all of them are on Wendy and she just gets pushed back. So it doesn't look like she's taking any damage from them, but they're just doing some weird stuff. And let's just say in the next panel, she's literally covered by these dolls. She can't do anything because they are just, like, you could say draining her power, you could say. And Haku, well, he's just standing there amused, thinking, yes, I finally have captured you, Wendy. You are now mine, and let's just say now we can date, which is a little bit weird considering he is the enemy of Fairy Tail. So right now, Wendy and Lily are pushed back against the corner and they've got no chance to defeat them. Or do they? Because in the next panel, something interesting happens. So Wendy is still being pushed down by all the dolls and Haku is just smiling on, thinking, yes, you now can't defeat me, just succumb to the dolls. But this is when the unexpected happens. Let's just say one of the dolls, weird owl looking doll, starts to punch the other dolls and get them off Wendy. A little weird considering Haku controls all the dolls, because what that doll does afterwards is it stands down. Haku is, let's just say, shocked because he thought he was controlling all the dolls, and then that owl doll, he punches off the rest of the dolls that were on top of Wendy, and Wendy has now been freed of all those dolls. So you're probably thinking, who is this doll? Whose spirit has Haku captured and put inside this doll? Well, you'll be a little bit surprised because in the next panel, it is revealed that it's actually Irene, which really shocks Haku because he thought he captured her soul in a different doll. But Irene explains something a little bit weird. So Irene explains that she was able to transfer her soul from one doll to another. Wendy is a little bit shocked, thinking how on earth you were able to do that. And let's just say Irene explains that it was high enchantment magic, and the moment it was done was when she started to move a bit from Haku because she knew that she was entrapped by the doll. But what could you do? Well, try and move to the next object using your high enchantment magic, and then try and wait for your opportunity, which Irene did, and it actually came out clutch. And then in the next panel, what happens is it looks like Irene wasn't just spending all her time just trying to transfer her soul. She actually used her enchantment magic to turn all the dolls against Haku. And then in the next panel, Haku, well, he is a little bit scared now because he's been taken over because Irene has actually taken over all of his dolls. So he's really surprised right now and he's been pushed back now against the corner. So in the next panel, all the dolls that were once attacking Wendy are all attacking Haku. And Haku, well, he can't do anything because he's still just stunned that something like this has actually happened. So then in the next panel, Irene then gives the signal to Wendy to use an all-out attack. And let's just say it is going to be an all-out attack because right now, all of the dolls and even Haku are inside this giant hurricane. And Wendy, well, she's powering up using her dragon force. Haku being unable to do anything thanks to the dolls he created. And Wendy, well, she's going to launch one hell of a final attack, isn't she? She's going to launch a super Dragon Force Sky Wing attack. And let's just say Haku is sent flying. He is now been really damaged. Irene and Lily are both smiling on, thinking, well, now this is what you call Fairy Tail. And in the next panel, you can tell Haku is knocked out and out of the battle. A little shocking, like I said, the fact that Haku is now out of this battle and defeated by Wendy. So then in the next panel, Lily is freed from the strings, Wendy has power down from her Dragon Force, and Irene is now sort of back to normal, where Irene is now just saying to Wendy about how she was able to cast such powerful spells, and she tells Wendy something that she has not realized yet. So throughout all of her battles, throughout everything she's gone through, she has slowly started to power up, slowly but surely, and throughout each battle, she was able to use Wendy's magic and also learn from Wendy on how to use higher enchantments. And the only way that she could do that is, well, now Wendy, she is a high enchant wizard. She's able to use higher enchantments just like Irene at such a young age compared to her. So right now, Wendy has now proven that she has grown so much in Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest, and it ends off with Irene telling her that. What a chapter, legit, in one of my favourite chapters, and an unexpected happened where one of the Dragon Knights has officially been beaten. You guys, let me know down below, what do you think of this chapter? Did you think it was good? Did you think it was bad? And let me know by dropping a comment below, what was your favourite moment? Thank you guys for watching, you guys are always the best. If you want to see more videos, make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. Other than that, take care and peace.